Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So I've literally just walked through the door. I thought I'd sit down very quickly while the information is still fresh in my mind and share all the information I managed to gather from the Vigilus Weekender. So let's just jump in and let's get started. If you have a question that I haven't answered in this video, post it below in the comment section and I'll do my best to get back to you with an answer to that question. Like I said, I've just walked in, so I'm just trying to get as much information across as possible. So the big massive news at the event was, of course, Calgar being revealed. I personally thought Calgar was going to be put in a dreadnought because the trailer only in death is due to end and stuff, but completely blindsided me and all my friends and some of the chaps who I met actually at the front of the queue. Completely blindsided us, and the model is absolutely amazing and fantastic. The trailer and the images on the GW website don't do it justice. Once you see this thing just through a display cabinet, you will lose your mind. It is such a brilliant model. And those Honor Guard, Holy Emperor of Mankind, beautiful, beautiful sculpts. I went to the seminar, which was basically a Q&A seminar about all the information that they released at the event. Now, all you chaps probably saw this already because the Warhammer community put it up. So it was basically just people asking questions about, Calgar's model, the brand new Vigilus Defiant book, which is going to be coming out, which is the start of the Vigilus campaign. A word on this is that on the actual binder or stem, whatever you want to call it, that it was number 1. So the chap who was answering all our questions did confirm that number 2 has already been written, and he did hint at a lot more books coming in the future. They actually shown us one slide about the book, and in that it had some information about some of the stuff which is going to be getting upgrades in book 1. I noticed Black Templars were on there, so I'm very excited about that. I have no idea what kind of upgrades and what kind of stuff they will be getting. He did mention stratagems and all that kind of stuff in this book, so I'm hoping that the Black Templars do get something like that. Ravenwing was also mentioned, the Gene Stealer cults were also in there. But yes, very excited. In this book as well is where you're going to be finding Marius Calgar's rules and the rules for the Honor Guard who come with him as well. So I'm kind of thinking maybe this could be a box set around Christmas time, and you get Calgar in there and the book and all that kind of stuff. But that's just me. You never confirm that or anything. I'm just thinking that from like a marketing standpoint. This book was actually labelled number 1 on the stem. Is that the right bloody word for it? On the stem of it. And he did confirm that number 2 is basically fully completed, finished on the write-up. And he did hint that down the line there will be many more books dedicated to Vigilus. Vigilus is going to be a very big campaign when it comes to Warhammer 40,000. Of course, the subject of Primarchs was brought up by some individual, no names, because Angron was given to me by a source, and this is a source I very much trust. This question was asked towards this gentleman, and he basically smirked. He gave a little bit of a, wink, and his basic words were, now wouldn't that be awesome if Angron was the next demonic Primarch? And he said it in such a way which basically got me overexcited. So I still definitely think that Angron is firmly on the cards, and he will be coming as the next demonic Primarch. If I had to put a timeline on it, I'd probably say it's got to be involved in the Vigilus, in the actual Vigilus arc in some stage when all these books come out. Of course, it's not going to be in book 1. That is Calgar's book, but I think that each book he's got to get a big model to come in with it. Book 1 is Calgar. Book 2 maybe Angron. It maybe book 3 or 4. I don't know how many books they plan, but I definitely think each book will have a big model hitting with it. Now, on the subject of Calgar and the new model and the new sculpt, I actually asked a question: is that Gravis armor Calgar was wearing? Because it basically looks like Gravis armor to me. And they said no, it's basically his same armor, it's just been upgraded. He actually gave a name for the armor, but I'm sorry, I've completely forgot it. Of course, we mentioned his Primaris size now. I actually didn't read this actually on the article, but it more or less confirmed it on the article as well. And he went into information that yes, Marius Calgar has officially been upgraded. He's received the extra gene seed implants to make him into a Primaris Marine, which in itself is absolutely massive news, because now this confirms that Primaris can basically, the normal Marines can now be basically upgraded to become Primaris Marines. He did say that the implantation nearly killed Calgar, so it's not without its risks. I'm sure maybe if they want to kill off some characters in the future, if they want to, maybe they can cheaply do it by, oh, he never survived his gene implantation, to upgrade to a Primaris. I think that'd be quite of a low way to do it, but I can see him doing that if, for some characters they just don't want to bring over. Of course, that led into more questions about which other characters now are going to be upgraded. One of the ones everyone wanted to know about, Dante. Again, he gave a little smirk, like a little wink, said, now wouldn't that be awesome if Dante become a Primaris? So to me, it's basically confirming that all these old characters, such as Calgar, Dante, Azrael, even maybe Helbrecht, are basically going to get the Primaris treatment. They're just going to get the upgrades, and this is how we're going to see their new models, which in a way I'm very, very grateful for, because we are going to get awesome new sculptured models for him. But I think it kind of puts a concern into my head about the way, the direction they're going to be going with the normal Marines. Now, some chap did ask the question, what does this mean for normal Marines then? Because if you're upgrading Calgar into a Primaris, surely that means over the period of time, all normal Marines will eventually be upgraded. I'm doing air quotes here. Will eventually be upgraded, or they'll just start and just do Primaris Marines from now on. He did mention that the normal Marines are going nowhere, but when you look at it from his standpoint, he can't really come out and say, yes, normal Marines do have a time slate on them, and they will be vanishing. Of course, that guy can't say that, but me and all my friends were saying, of course, he can't say that, but we know that it's only a matter of time now, really, for the mini Marines or normal Marines before they're basically put on the shelf and everything is Primaris size. Again, that's just my take on it. You probably might have another opinion on that matter, but if it goes off anything like the Calgar model, I think the future is basically Primaris size. Of course, we had a Raptor there as well, which is basically a Black Legion Raptor. He did confirm that that is a character as well. It's just not a normal Raptor. He will have, some nice characteristic stats, some lore to go with him, and all that kind of stuff. There was a lot of questions about Chaos and the variants of Traitor Guard and all that kind of stuff since, the release within Blackstone. He basically said, a lot of people have requested it, but at the moment there is basically some codexes need to be done. On the actual subject of codexes, he did confirm that next year is not just going to be Sisters of Battle. There is still more codexes to come out next year. Now, I don't know if that's going to be like a new Space Marine codex or anything like that, but I would personally put that down to Chaos getting a few more codexes coming out in 2019, and probably the relaunch of maybe redoing the Space Marine Codex and all that kind of stuff. Now on to a little chat with the Forge World developers. I'm sorry, I don't really have a lot of information here. I did ask, one of the biggest things I wanted to find out is with the Talons of the Emperor book, and I'm kind of saying I think I may have some bad news for a lot of people, myself included. I asked a chap at the stand, and he said he doesn't really know that much about it, but he did say it was planned. And as far as he's aware, that development has stopped for now, but he said he doesn't know if it's transferred over to the GW writers, and Forge World have basically give it them to finish off. He said he didn't know anything like that. He didn't really have the information there. They were basically just trying to give us information about this new Titan that they had on display. It looked fantastic. It looked amazing. But with models of that scale, for me personally, I don't think I'm ever really gotta purchase it or buy it, because with the games I have with friends, no one really has that kind of firepower to go against that kind of stuff. I did ask about the fires of Craxus. Sorry, I always pronounce that bloody name wrong. And again, he said sorry, he has absolutely no information about that. I asked the same question about the Imperial Knight upgrades. Remember that from a couple of months back? Again, he said he didn't have really any information about that, which was a kind of a letdown, because this is a Forge World stand, and I thought at least can we add no negative towards the the guy who is doing his job. Obviously he's there to try and give us much information about the Titan, which is there, but I would have loved someone who actually there at the stand who actually knew some information about these books that were promised, and about the Knight upgrades which were shown off and all that kind of stuff. So I was kind of let down with the information from the Forge World people. Throughout the day, they mentioned that there would be a couple of surprises announcements. One was going to be at 1 o'clock, and that was the Noise Marine, which looked really, really awesome. It's basically a nod back to the past of the old Noise Marine. So that's going to be like a Christmas kind of special miniature. And at the end of the day, they revealed it as the Gene Stealer cult guy was basically looking over that map. Remember when we had a little discussion a couple of days ago about the Forge World, sorry, not the Forge World, the actual Games Workshop map made into a model, and it's basically a part of that. It looks like a little like command hub center. So yeah, it's a cool looking model. So yeah, it's a very, very good day out. On the subject of Gene Stealer, sorry, not Gene Stealer, Gene Stealer cult stuff, I did ask about the codex because if you've noticed and you've watched all the trailers and stuff like that, most of them have December at the end. You know, December, this is coming, December, that's coming. The Gene Stealer one didn't have December on it, which a few people who were actually sitting down were a bit concerned about because they were like, so we're not getting our codex this year? And he basically said, I can't answer that. I'm not allowed to answer that. So personally for me, I think he more or less confirmed that Gene Stealers... the Gene Stealer Cultist will not be getting a codex this year. It's probably got to be the first codex of next year when they do the New Year's open day, probably around that time. All in all, it was a really, really great day out. The Calgar stuff was bang on point. I don't think I'm going to be purchasing Calgar because I have no plans for doing a Ultramarine armor, but I sense Dante is very, very close. And if Dante does get the Primaris treatment, then I may have to revisit my Primaris Blood Angel Force, which is tucked away in my display cabinet right at the bottom like a ugly child. So I think I may have to break them out and give them the light of day again and add Dante to that list because I'm really, really excited about all this stuff. I know there was a lot, there is a lot of discussion, that is probably the kindest word to say, about Calgar getting the Primaris treatment and what this means now for the rest of the range. I think I'm going to explore that in another video tomorrow because I really want to keep this about the information from the actual day itself. But I'm super excited. Really enjoyed the day out. Met some great friends. Met some new people there as well. People came over. Thank you for those who came over and, you know, said hello and all that kind of stuff. I had some Patreon people come over, talk. If you're listening, great to see you and stuff like that. Yeah, really, really appreciated some of the other YouTubers there, Super Saiyan and stuff. Always nice to see him. It's a great channel. If you haven't, go and check it out. It's really, really good. But yeah, absolutely great day out. I always recommend going to Warhammer World for events like that because you get to look around all the display cabinets for free, and yeah, it's you just get to meet all the designers and, you know, have a nice chill out. Awesome day. Right, that's me done for another video. If I forgot to mention anything that you want to find questions for, please leave it below in the comment section. I'll do my best to try and answer them and give you that information. Until then, thank you for watching the video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day. See you now, and bye-bye.